Heading into the final race of 2025, 3 riders were alone at the top of the leaderboard. Bobby Fong led by 8 over Cameron Beaubier, and only 22 back, reigning champion Josh Herron. When the dust settled on the drama-filled final round, it was number 6 Beaubier who notched his 6th Superbike title. But a lot of things have changed since we last saw our 200-mile-per-hour superheroes last. Team changes, bike changes, and race winners back for another go. We're all square at 0 points for all. Who's ready to witness one of the most exciting Superbike seasons on paper ever? The fastest road race bikes in the U.S. are ready to grit up and get after it for the first time in 2026. It's time to go racing right now. It is here, the MotoAmerica AMA-FIM North American Road Race Championship, our first round of 9 for 2026. And we are at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta here in Braselton, Georgia for a MotoAmerica Superbikes at Road Atlanta weekend, setting the stage for the Quad Lock Superbike Championship and race number 1. And the sun is out, the temperature's up, and we are so excited that we finally get to go racing because it's been a long time since September in 2025. Welcome everyone to the broadcast booth. I'm Greg White, standing alongside 2-time national champ Jason Pridmore. Now, Jason, the excitement rolling into this year was unbelievable because there's been so many changes in riders, teams, people coming up, race winners. I mean, it has just been a bevy of information, but now here we are, and it's time to get racing.
We had a rider market. You know, I think it's one of the first times we've had it. Not only have we had a rider market, we've got guys, new teams have been formed. People have moved from super sport that have proven champions up to Superbike again. Our number 1 plate has completely changed everything, gone to Ducati off of BMW, so a place that he's always wanted to ride. So there's been a lot of movement, a lot of things, and so far Atlanta hasn't disappointed as far as some of the storylines that we kind of thought could start to happen. It's all been pretty good this morning.
Drama right off the bat. So let's take a look at qualifying, where we had one 15-minute qualifier for the weekend. And Jason, it didn't start off well for one of our top dogs.
I mean, literally right off the bat, this is what we hate to see. This is a guy I was really looking forward to watching today. PJ Jacobsen took quite a lump here on his head, Greg. You're going to see this Ducati get out of shape. For a minute, you're thinking, all right, maybe. And then, of course, that's what ends up happening. It was that last little hit to the head that's going to deem PJ unable to ride today. We have found out that he is okay. He was moving, and he was all those, but we saw him take that knock, and it's a real shame because he was coming in here with a lot of confidence, considering that he only tested for like a day and a half. Then how about this? Cam Beaubier didn't even do a lap before he pitched it down the road at the top of the hill. So Cam's going to have to come from the back row. Here's the guy, Matthew Stoltz, on that track, racing R1. He comes into Atlanta, a track he loves, off of 2 national championships, and thinks, you know what? You can add a bit more horsepower, but I'm going to try to give you the same result. Matthew Stoltz puts it on pole position today.
Here's a look at Cameron Beaubier, right? We talked about it. He won his 6th Superbike championship. Now, keep in mind, since MotoAmerica started, Cameron's been the shining light, but he was gone for 2 seasons in Moto2. So incredible accomplishment, 6 wins, 16 podiums. And you know what? Our very own Jason Pridmore had a chance to hang out with the 6-time champ, Cameron Beaubier.
All right, I'm joined by 6-time MotoAmerica Superbike champion Cam Beaubier. And Cam, I saw you a lot this year. You're riding a stock street bike, probably more than I've seen you in years past. Tell us what it's like adjusting to this Ducati so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an adjustment, but a good one. I mean, the bike is incredible. We just did first practice. Like you said, Ducati, they gave me a V4S to ride in the off season, which was great. You know, I don't really ride too much. Over like the past years, I haven't really ridden too much street bikes in the off season like that. And man, the vibe is so cool down at Chapala for 1, and just getting to learn a new bike for 2. And that bike in stock form, the V4S, it's incredible. It feels like a race bike off the showroom floor. So just to play with something new and just have something new to learn is exciting.
One of the big questions, I think, when you have somebody that's been as successful as you are, where's the motivation coming from right now? You know, it's like new bike, new manufacturer, new team. Does that help motivate things a little bit more?
It does. I mean, I've always wanted to ride a Ducati for multiple reasons. One, because I've raced against one for a handful of years and I see how good it is.
Yeah.
I want to experience that, you know. We say it's an iconic brand, you know, it is. Everyone's really cool. Everyone that I've met well, obviously including the team, they've welcomed me in with open arms, and then everyone in-house at Ducati. So it's been pretty special. I haven't gotten a ton of testing in. Went to Portugal for a test, ran the whole time in January, which is kind of a bummer. But we got a day in on it last week in New Jersey, and ready to go racing.
I love it. Well, best of luck to you on the season opener.
All right, so we know Cam's got to come from the back of the grid, but our very own Hannah Lopa is down underneath the sunshine on the front of the grid. Hannah?
And I'm starting at the first spot on the grid with Matthew Skoltz. The last time he raced a Superbike here, he finished on the podium. This is all new. He's bringing track racing into the Superbike field. Matthew, tell us what's new and what's different compared to the Yamaha Superbike that you've ridden in the past.
I mean, everything from swing arm, triple clamp, software. I just want to say thank you to the track racing team. They've given me a platform to kind of show my talent, and I'm very, very thankful for that. Thankful to be back on the Superbike program. Coming off a Supersport championship, it kind of taught me a couple things. Not to worry too much about software and the setup, and more just to ride on the edge. And I haven't raced a Superbike since the end of 23, so it's going to be a difficult 19 laps. I know that there's a couple boys, Fong, Sean, Bobier, Peterson, all the guys that will be charging hard, but just going to put my head down and just ride as quick as I can and see where we end up. I don't want to put too much pressure on myself, but lap times do look good. It seems that we have a pretty consistent pace, but yeah, I'll just take it as it comes.
Best of luck out there to Matthew Skoltz. A little bit more on the team's decision to move up into Superbike and how important it was that they bring Matthew with them. Bobby Fong starting second on the grid. I want to move over and talk to our third position on the grid, Sean Dylan Kelly, back on the BMW that you got your first ever Superbike podium on. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels amazing. Really proud to be a part of the Orange Cat Racing team, and feels really good to be back on the BMW. So I think we did a pretty good, second day on the bike with the team, and we're on the front row. So we know the objective is to be up front and win.
Best of luck to Sean Dylan Kelly. The depth of talent in the field this year is more stacked than ever before, guys.
Amount of drama before the race, pretty incredible. All right, we're going to step away right now. We are less than 5 minutes away from a race start, so you don't want to go anywhere as the Quad Lock Superbike class gets its 2026 season underway.
Quad Lock Superbike is brought to you by Quad Lock, securing millions of phones worldwide on motorcycles, cars, trucks, boats, and side-by-sides. Stay connected on adventures with Quad Lock. By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. By NXT Bets. Play MotoAmerica for cash. Quad Lock Superbike is live on top sportsbook and DFS platforms.
What can we do as a group to give back to the sport in which we love? And that's how Back on Track was formed, which included Wayne Rainey, Scott Parker, Ronnie Jones, Charlie Roberts, John Winzowitz, and myself, Tom Duma. Now what we do is we raffle different bikes off. That money goes to injured racers. When they fall on the racetrack, happen to go to the hospital, fracture some bones, here we are to help them get back on track.
In Gaelic, whiskey means water of life. Life, by its very nature, is defiant. You worked up the courage to live, to love, to defy. Stay fast, stay free, stay defiant. Drink Defiant whiskey.
From an early age, we race. It's part of who we are. It's in our DNA. For some, the need to keep pushing fuels our lives. At VP Racing, we pour everything we have into creating the industry's best products. For those who put it all on the line, whether it's the track or the trail or wherever you race, they say you can't win them all, but you can sure as hell try. VP Racing. Win every race.
We're back here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta as bikes on track for the Quad Lock Superbike at Road Atlanta, race number 1. Now, JP, what's interesting, of course, is, you know, with the interaction between fans and racing and all this kind of stuff, we have NXTbets.com, and I'm looking at the odds to win the race, but I don't know what I'm looking at. So explain this to me, please.
Basically, to win $100 on Cameron Beaubier, you'd have to bet 111, okay? Because he's a big favorite. Matthew Skoltz on pole position, on the other hand, is about 8-1. So if you wanted to put $100 on Matthew, your return would be $806 today. So that's kind of how it works. And you got like a long shot, like as in Hayden Gillum here, who is qualified 8th on the grid. Put 100 on him today, you win $2,815. So, you know, this is just another way. If you have a favorite rider or, you know, favorite football team, you got that little heart bet, you want to put it on them, that's what you can do here.
A heart bet. That's pretty funny. And so it's NXTbets.com/PlayMA to find out more information on how to get involved. Obviously, you know, you need to have a state that willing to do it. You got to be of age, all that kind of stuff. So make sure you go check that information out. And boy, Cameron Beaubier has got to come from a ways back in order to cover that one. So we're getting closer and closer to getting this race underway. Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta here in Brazelton, Georgia. The track map, 2.5 miles, JP.
It's a quick run down to turn 1 up a big steep hill through some of those crazy Road Atlanta S's. By the time you get to turn 7, you're going to watch all this horsepower unleashed down the back straight. Turn 10 could get interesting, as could turn 12 in these opening laps.
Generates a lot of drafting and passing. Well, Jay, let's talk about the starting grid itself. We know Matthew Skoltz sits on pole with a 1:23.895. Bobby Fong and Sean Dillon Kelly.
You can see Cam Peterson there, JD Beach, Richie Escalante on the second row. These guys are all just kind of getting ready to roll.
All right, so you can see the starting grid scrolling down underneath. So it's Skoltz, Fong, and Kelly. And there's a look at the 54 of Richie Escalante starting on row number 2. So as the starting grid rolls by, we're getting ready to get after it. 19 laps scheduled in Quad Lock Superbike race number 1. Here we go, lights out. That was a bit of a delay, but everybody got off the line pretty well. Matthew Skoltz from pole position, looking good.
Yeah, really good start. Looked like Brandon Posh may have jumped to start, and his teammate Richie Escalante had big problems. He's behind the pace car. Although I'm looking out the window, I can see Escalante getting going now. I thought maybe he did a clutch. Our first run down through the S's, as you will see here, though, Greg, it looks like... Yeah, look at that. Matthew Skoltz just gone, just right off the bat. I mean, he has got a 2-second lead, Greg, as they go up over the hill right now. Probably close to 2-second lead already. There's Escalante in the background, finally filtering through. Not sure what happened to the 54. I saw him release the clutch, pull all the way over to the right side of the track, and that was it. Matthew Skoltz is going to come through on this first lap and read his pit board, and it might say +2, and he's going to wonder what has happened behind him.
What a race back already on this first lap for Skoltz. He got such an incredible launch, and he is not messing around. Maybe some of the stuff that he was able to sort out when he was 2-time Super Sport champion. Down into turn 10 we go for the first time, and Skoltz has like half of that straightaway speed from the top of the hill down, and they're messing around here as it looks like Sean Dillon Kelly on the Orange Cat BMW works his way into third spot.
Yeah, but there's a couple things I'm really liking so far. How about Benjamin Smith running 5th, although Cam Peterson now is taking that spot away and goes up underneath him. Matthew Skoltz on his first lap has 1.4 seconds over SDK JD Beach. Cam Peterson is the first Ducati. Benjamin Smith is there. Let's take a look and see where Cameron Beaubier is up to, Greg. He is in 15th on his opening lap.
All right, so Beaubier trying to work his way to closer to the front. Is a podium out of question for Beaubier? When you look at the depth of this field, your initial reaction is going to be no shot. But anything can happen in racing, as we've already seen this weekend, including this guy, Matthew Skoltz. Now keep in mind, this is kind of a home track for Matthew Skoltz. This place has been magical for Skoltz in his career. He feels very comfortable here. And now back on a Yamaha Superbike, Skoltz is streaking away, already a 1.5 second lead. And there's the number 1 of Beaubier on his new motorcycle, his new team, Warhorse HSBK Ducati Flow for Law Racing.
And let's just keep in mind, Greg, these are his first laps he's done since he tipped over in qualifying. So he had a sighting lap and a warm-up lap to do. But for Cam, he's going to be able to get by these stock 1000 bikes. I believe that's Alex Dumas and Andrew Lee as they head down this back straightaway. He's going to make quick work of those guys. That should put him up into the 11th kind of spot area. That might have been Danilo Lewis along with Andrew Lee. So that was my mistake on that one. So just getting used to all the new riders and bikes and colors. Fong and SDK, let's see if they whittled this down at all. It looks like they've kind of kept Matthew a little bit honest this first lap.
Oh, bike problems right there.
That looks like yeah, that's going to be one of the Hayden Gillum maybe.
Hayden Gillum. Hayden Gillum. Some smoke bellowing out of the back of his CBR 1000RR on that real steel Honda. So Hayden Gillum and that team continue to develop that motorcycle. So it looks like he's going to be out of this race. There's the number 1 plate of Beaubier. He came by in 11th place. Still looking up the road is Cameron Beaubier. Jay, take a look at those lap times. How's he doing compared to the riders in front of him? Well, he's having to carve through traffic to do it.
Yeah, 25.8 that last time by to a 24.3. So he's going to have the pace. He's just got to get cleared. But Matthew Skoltz right now, Bobby Fong put in a fast first split that was basically matched. As you can see what Greg saw just now, he saw that Honda of Hayden Gillum have problems. Hayden knew the second he opened the throttle, didn't he?
Certainly did. That puff of smoke is not a good thing in racing. But back to the front, Skoltz with the fastest lap of the race, a 1:24.373 right out of the box. But Bobby Fong in sector number 1 is trying to close the gap. Went the fastest sector 1 split so far. But really, when you look at the sector 2 times that are in there, no real racetrack gain for Bobby Fong right now. And here is the look. Yeah, go ahead.
Benjamin Smith. I'm really looking forward to see what this young man can do. He's on a real good bike this year. As you see Jason Uribe on the 2nd of the Orange Cat BMW S1000s, Greg. So he made the promotion up from stock 1000 as well. And here comes Cam Beaubier. He's already got past Brandon Posh. He's already got by Dion Campbell, who's leading our Superbike Cup right now, is the number 194, Dion Campbell, running in the top 10. Real nice work from him as well as they head up the hill. Cam's already got himself up into 8th grade, 24.9 that last time by. So Bobby Fong goes 24.2 to go fastest lap of the race. So I think you're going to see some more quick times from this man right here.
And the old adage is you can't win the championship in the first race of the year, but you certainly can give it away. So Beaubier just trying to get as close to the front as he can, get as many points. Here in MotoAmerica, when you win a race, it's 25 points, 20 for second, and you go 16 for third. But once you get to that 5th place position, it all goes down to 1 point for your top 15.
Looking at 2 things up on my screen right now, Greg. Both bikes, number 66 and 194, so that's Brandon Posh and Dion Campbell, have been hit with a 5-second jump start penalty. So when you start to look at your running order, you might see them ahead of some riders, but they're actually behind them with that 5-second penalty. You see that Ducati moving around a little bit there on Cam Beaubier? He talked to me a little bit about there's a wallow right now that they're trying to take out of it. I talked to him and Benjamin Smith both. As you can see, there's a problem for Cam Beaubier now as he looks down at the right side of his bike. Let's see if, when a bike moves around that much, a rider has an inkling to want to look down to see if there's any oil or anything like that that could be a problem. He's looking down on the right brake side, so I'm not exactly sure what that could be. These are big points already getting chucked out the window right now for a rider who's had a tough Saturday.
What a tough day for Cameron Beaubier, your championship points leader. Such a promising, and look at Cameron doing the smart thing, trying to get that motorcycle off the race line.
I'm wondering what it could be. It could be a loose foot peg. I'm just not sure what that is going to be. 1.5 second lead for this guy. So the 1.4 second that he was able to bridge at the start of the race, the guys behind him have kind of been able to run the same pace. Well, at least one guy, Bobby Fong. Bobby Fong has gotten away from SDK as well.
And you think that Skoltz is managing the time out front? Well, he just set the best sector 3 split of the race, did the number 11 on the Strack Racing Yamaha R1. So Matthew Skoltz comfortably out front. Hannah, he got a jackrabbit start.
He absolutely did, and he's feeling so comfortable to be back on the Superbike. I talked to the team about it, and they said after 2 seasons with him winning the championship and the Supersport field, it felt only right to reward him with this transition up to the Superbikes, and they felt like it was such a natural transition. It's very much the right time for them. The team also mentioned his demeanor is just so much more relaxed and more casual than they've seen in the last 2 seasons. So it seems like Matthew is feeling right at home at his, for all intents and purposes, home race here this weekend.
Yeah, it is. He lives in Georgia.
Yep, yep, he certainly does. You see Cam Peterson. Cam Peterson makes the jump from Supersport last year. See that bike just bucking around as he comes up over the top of the crest there. Cam Peterson's on that wrench Ducati now. Dad's crew chief, and I believe on that bike.
He is, yeah.
Which is really great seeing Robbie Peterson working out. Bobby Fong down in turn 1. So this is the pressure that Matthew Skoltz is putting on. Bobby kept him honest for the beginning of this, but now it looks like the number 50 is down in turn 1. The right clip-on snapped off, and for Bobby, the frustration is pretty big right now.
Yeah, and you feel like the way Matthew Skoltz has approached this race weekend with his track racing team, that you don't really want to give away 25 points to this guy. We still got a lot of racing to go in this season.
Oh no!
Bike down in the middle of the racetrack.
Is this at the top of the hill in turn 2?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. There's going to be bikes coming up over the top. So this is obviously a big problem. It's red flagged already. Could be a big break for this guy, Greg. Cameron Beaubier just pulled in the pits in front of us. And this could be a huge break for the number 1.
Team's going to get on the hustle right now to try to look to see and diagnose what Cameron was noticing, if maybe his foot was slipping off the peg or something was going off on that side of the bike. So like you're saying, Jason, this could be a big deal. The other thing, too, is...
See what happens here. So this bike's already crashed going
It's a
up the hill.
Honda.
Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a high side going up the hill. The front number plate's ripped off, so it's hard to see who that is. Don't want to... I want to speculate because there's a lot of CBR thousands in this race, so hard to see who that might be.
222. So it's Manny Segura is what we're hearing, part of the Superbike Cup class. Now, as you look under these red flag conditions here for our first Quad Lock Superbike race of the season, and this team gets busy, the Warhorse, HSBK, Ducati, Flow for Law team working on Cameron Beaubier's bike. Obviously, Matthew Skoltz did not want to see that red flag. He had a really nice, comfortable lead, about 2.5 seconds over Sean Dillon Kelly. But as we ratchet back, let's talk real quickly about the Superbike Cup category. Bobby Fong, was he actively participating in this race? Is he going to get to start the race as he rolls back to the pits? That will be in question. However, let's talk about Superbike Cup. So a lot of people have been watching MotoAmerica for a lot of years. No Stock 1000. Stock 1000 went away at the end of the 2025 season. MotoAmerica introduced Superbike Cup. Superbike Cup has been around for a while, but the rules are a little different. So they are a step up from a Stock 1000 machine. They're a step down from a full-blown Superbike. And there's a look at Manny Segura, who's getting some assistance. But imagine this, Jason. Your MotoAmerica tech inspection, and you say, okay, we're going to do Superbike Cup. We want to try to get these bikes as close to possible equal bikes. Mm-hmm. You have to run a stock swing arm. You have to run stock forks.
Yeah.
So you can change the internals, but you got to run that stock, and you can't run the same exact shock that they can run in Superbike. So if you have a certain Olin shock, you can't run the same. So it's a little bit more rudimentary, shock. And so, but the engines, they're all trying to get them equal. So you look at the Panigale V4R, and you're trying to get a Yamaha R1 to that level. You're talking about a motorcycle that has the potential to be a full-blown Superbike motor with a stock swing arm in the Yamaha, but a stock motor when it comes to a Ducati. But this seems to be the Superbike Cup bike of choice this year, the Honda CBR 1000RR, an extremely well-sorted machine and extremely fast, and it makes a lot of sense. And hold on, let's go down to Hanalopa, who has Cameron Beaubier right now.
Cameron Beaubier pulling into the pits just before the red flag came out. You were experiencing something, obviously was not feeling quite right. You made the safe call to bring it into the pit lane. Tell us what you were feeling underneath you.
Yeah, there was some oil blowout on my boot, and I started slipping on the peg. And I looked down, and yeah, my boot was covered in oil. So the guys are seeing what they could do to button it up for this restart, and hopefully we can get out.
Take us through the start of that race and just kind of having to make your way back up toward the front.
Yeah, I got a really bad start, really bad launch. Man, to be honest, it's all on me. I put the guys on the back foot after falling down this morning, which was a bummer, but they've been working their butts off to get this thing back going. And yeah, bad start, but it was able to start picking guys off. And luckily this thing is a rocket ship down the back straight. Was making my life a little bit easier. So yeah, like I said, hopefully we can get off, get out there for the restart and see how it goes.
Thanks, Cam. Maybe a bit of good luck for Beaubier with the red flag here, guys.
It might be. It's not going to help his starting position, obviously, but
great getting points. These are the things I said at the beginning of the show. Your bad days are the ones that you can win your championships on. And what an incredible break if he can actually get back out there and be able to compete and race in this race. So that is a big break as the attack team has now gone to work on Bobby Fong's bike. I saw the shifter hanging off when he was trying to bring it back to the pits. So he is now, they're going to be able to change some of that stuff. And in this case, there's probably a little bit of a cleanup up at the top of the hill. I saw some of the MotoAmerica staff, there you go, was looking at some fluid. And Greg, I'm going to be honest with you, that is almost directly where you need to be going up there. And in this particular corner, this is, for those that haven't been here, this is going to be fast. Third gear on these superbikes coming to the top, and you're trailing at that spot and back shifting to second before you get to those S's.
So red flag conditions for the Quad Lock Superbike class in race 1 of the season. We're going to step away. When we come back, we're going to be closer and closer to a race start.
Do it.
Tear it down.
Nice.
Build it up. Because the bike you make your own is always a classic. J&P Cycles. Building by your side since 1979.
Built to get more out of every mile. For what you pull, what you haul, and what you refuse to leave behind. When the load gets heavy, you don't back off. You push forward. Trusted for generations, because performance matters. More air, more power, more response. Engineered for the demands of diesel drivers, ready for wherever the road ends. K&N Performance Diesel.
Back here in Braselton, Georgia, Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta for our first race of the Quad Lock Superbike season. You can see bikes are still on the grid under red flag conditions. Race start not too far off in the distance. Let's take a look at what happened so far, Jay.
Yeah, a lot of excitement already. We had a jump start from Brandon Podge and Dion Campbell. You see on the left side of your screen, Escalante had some sort of problem. He'd worked his way back up to 12th. But Matthew Skultz, I don't know if something happened at the top of the hill at the beginning to separate him in the way it did, but he was gone. 1.4 seconds on the first lap. And you can see here Hayden Gillum. We lost him early with a problem. Then there was some oil on Cameron's on his boot. I could see that bike moving around a lot. Bobby Fong ends up tipping off. Craig, just tons of attrition. And then Manny Segura, unfortunately, crashes right at the top of the hill. That's his second one of the day. So I hope Manny's doing okay. I know he fell over this morning. I think it was in qualifying, Greg, or maybe one of our practice sessions. But for Manny, hopefully he's doing all right. And our crew had a little bit of stuff that they had to clean up there, so that's why we have this pause.
All right, so with lap 4, of the 2/3, so look at the red flag rules here. You must have completed 75%, of the leader in order to finish the race. You have to be actively participating on the racetrack. And then there's going to be a new race distance, which we know is going to be 12 laps. So red flag conditions here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta as the race start is getting closer. You can see Sean Dillon Kelly putting his helmet on. Let's get down to Hannah.
Update on Bobby Fong. The crew is still hard at work trying to get this motorcycle back together after he tipped over. The word as of right now is MotoAmerica is not letting him restart this race per the rules, stating that he potentially stepped away from the motorcycle. We're trying to see, the team does want to race, so they're hoping to still be able to get back out there, but as of right now, officially not going to be able to rejoin.
And obviously that's the actively participating rule that came into effect a few years ago. And it's more or less just like the timing of everything. So obviously he went to the bike, he was trying to get it going, and it's a matter of the walking away. And you know, you look at it and you say, oh, but how long was Bobby supposed to sit at that bike when there's a broken, you know, a broken motorcycle? So the team, you can kind of tell from the demeanor of the team, they're working on it, they want to get it back together, but it's not the all-out thrash we've seen.
Your natural instinct as a rider is to get away from the track, get away from wherever you need to be. There's nothing that could have been said that when they pushed that bike back over to the to wherever he was, that it couldn't have been restarted and got going again. As you see, he's putting his helmet on. So it's, to me, it's a bit of a, it's kind of a strange rule. Look, in racing, you need luck, you need some breaks, and this would be a lucky break for him to be able to continue. But when you fall over and you think that your bike might be done, you walk away, they might push the bike over to you, and then you can start it and see. I don't know if there was enough time there, Greg, to really determine, you know, all that stuff that happened. So Bobby looking like he still would like to get back out there and putting his helmet and his gloves on, and that team is still feverishly at work trying to get that bike put back together.
Okay, so riders must be actively participating at the time of the red flag is displayed. For purposes of these regulations, actively competing is defined as a rider riding on track or attempting to repair or restart the machine or rejoin the track or return to pit lane. Race direction will be the sole judge of whether a rider is actively competing, with the decision including safety considerations.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the overall umbrella, you know, of what's happening.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of, and again, this is just it's really, as each incident happens, it's got to be treated a correct way, and it just depends. Our cameras were off of him, so we didn't really get to see how far away from the bike he'd walked and things, but depending on where you crash at any track at any given time, your natural instinct is to get away as much as you can, especially if you're in an impact zone or an impact area. Corner workers a lot of times will walk the bike over to wherever you have gone or somewhere in that realm. So again, we'll just have to see how this pays out.
Yeah, I mean, according to the communication with MotoAmerica, Bobby unfortunately is not going to be able to restart this red flag race. So a good look at the weather here. You can see 85 degrees, and Jay, looking ahead tomorrow, we're definitely going to have much different weather. I think the high tomorrow is only scheduled to be about 69 degrees here.
It's going to be perfect,
yeah,
isn't it?
and a beautiful, I mean, it's outstanding
right
race
now.
weather.
Yeah,
it's great for the riders that are like in Georgia or Florida that have experienced at least some heat.
Yeah.
But some of the other riders from around the country showed up this weekend, yesterday in particular, and were like, yo, it's really hot here. And it's like, well, let me ask you that question if 88 is going to be hot when we're in August.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, all these riders should be able to handle this one. This is really, really great weather that we have now. And tomorrow it's just going to be a bit cooler, so it's going to make it a little bit nicer. But, man, so much drama. We're at round one, Greg. We're at race one of round one for Superbikes, and there's just so much stuff that has happened. And I believe that's Andrew Lee heading out.
Yeah, he's one of the Superbike Cup competitors, is Andrew Lee. So again, the requirement is stock swing arm, stock forks. You can change the internals. The shock isn't quite exactly the same as you would run on allowed to run on a Superbike. And then, of course, engine modifications for the Superbike Cup motorcycles are determined by the rules for MotoAmerica. So you can hear that little chitter chatter going on down there with the Attack Performance Progressive Yamaha Racing team as they got that motorcycle ready to go just in case that decision was reversed. But unfortunately, we're not going to see the 50 start the race.
I heard Richard say we can't get the bike to restart, but it sounds like it's, oh, that's a Ducati out here going off, sorry. Yeah, but it sounded like Richard said that it couldn't get it to restart. And,
yeah, so
and you can hear him say they're not going to let it start anyway. So, but again, he rode it in, and the bike won't restart. So, just a bummer. So I mean, you look at it, Greg. There's no PJ, and now there's no Bobby Fong, and Cameron's having a day, right? Cameron Beaubier.
Remember, Cam Peterson's back in. Jay, you got to start using those last names, pal.
Cam Peterson's doing a good job. Beaubier didn't get out in time, so he's going to have to come from the last row again, regardless.
He is.
And So these guys have just gone out for their siding lap. They're going to come reform at the grid. It's going to be a quick start. So that basically means.
So the attrition, though, that we've had and the amount of people that are starting this race, Beaubier should be really close to where he was before. Like you're saying, I think because he's going to have to start. So quick start procedure?
Yeah, quick start procedures. The riders are going to come back around. They're going to get on their grid. They're all going to come get set. Then they're going to go out for the siding lap. The problem here for me, if I'm Cam Beaubier right now, is you're always worried, is it going to leak anymore? So if he'd have been able to get this lap and then have a look at it and then still have a siding lap to do it again, it would increase his confidence. Because I know for the first lap or two right now, as you see them trying to keep that bike cool while it's running down there on pit lane.
And keep in mind, this is the first experience during a race weekend with the Warhorse HSBK Ducati Flow for Law race team. An outstanding team, very competent team, no question. But Cameron Beaubier doesn't have the comfort level with them yet.
Yes.
And so, you're always going to be asking yourself, all right, is everything buttoned up? So that extra lap that Cameron could have gotten would have been valuable.
And what have we been hearing all offseason? At least what I've been hearing, and I know you have too. It's like Beaubier on a Ducati. This is going to be a big problem, right?
Yeah.
He's going to win every race, all these things. And now this is the kind of stuff that happens. This is the stuff that happens in racing. This is why we run the races, as they say. And Beaubier is literally, I think if he walks out of here today with any points from the first race, he's going to be very, very happy with that. But if the bike is running and they have fixed it, he's going to probably finish somewhere up in that top 6, top 7 today, especially with some of the attrition that we've had. So these points are valuable points.
Cameron Beaubier is on the brand new Ducati Panigale V4R, a motorcycle which you've seen in World Superbike racing already. This was the incident, though, when we talked about with Bobby Fong not being able to start the race. Now, even if MotoAmerica deemed he could, the bike wouldn't start. So,
well, yeah, no, I agree with you. And like right now, if the bike had started right this second and he swung a leg over it and he got going, this is the problem. When you walk away from the bike like this, then they deem you basically not still being active.
And there was still quite a bit of time, though, between when this happened and the red flag.
Correct.
So he knew he couldn't get it going. It looked like the handlebar was broken. So, I mean, there's no pointing the finger at anybody. It's a racing incident, and it's a timing incident for Bobby Fong. Unfortunately, his opportunity to get 25 points in this race is done because he won't be participating for the remainder of the laps, which is 12. So imagine we're resetting, by the way. If you're new to MotoAmerica competition, we have 12 laps after this red flag start here in the Quad Lock Superbike class. So it's going to be grid up right now in this warm-up lap, and we're going to go. So a 19-lap race goes down to a 12-lap sprint, but you can do anything to the bike you want, Jay, except change tires. So these are the tires they started on originally.
And there's 4 guys right now: Brandon Posh, Dion Campbell, Cameron Beaubier, and Richie Escalante. All 4 of them get another little shot. 2 of them had a jump start. Escalante, I'm not sure what happened to him, and obviously we've covered the Beaubier situation. So good to see JD Beach back on a Superbike. I love seeing that.
We haven't talked much about the 95 Jiggy Dog, of course, on the Attack Performance Progressive Yamaha Racing team. To get the call back up, I believe this is his 4th time racing on Richard Stamboli's team, is the number 95 of JD Beach. There is the number 54 of Escalante, who's getting another go at it on the Mission Foods M4 X-Star Suzuki. Beaubier trying to find his grid position.
Yep.
This was more of a grid position I was used to when I was racing, Jason.
Hey, you said it. I didn't. Thank you. That's a good lead in.
Hey, now. Anyway, here we go. Restart race. Quad Lock Superbike race number 1. Our first of 2026. Getting ready to get after it. 12 laps scheduled for this section. Here we go. And it didn't look like that Schultz got exactly the launch he did the first time. Sean Dillon Kelly, knowing it's going to be the 95 as Schultz goes right around the outside. So a really good launch by the 95 of JD Beach as Schultz leads us up the hill again.
Now we're going to see, is Schultz just that magical through this first sector on an opening lap? And it looks like he is. Just that bike just dancing all over the place. That is a guy that's able to use his size to his advantage as well. Being able to use those legs, his height, he's able to do a lot with that motorcycle through those places where they got to cut over the curbs. And look at how much he's pulled away.
Incredible. And he's a motocrosser, too.
He is.
You can see him stand up on the foot pegs and allow the bike to just move around. A lot of confidence Schultz has in himself and in this motorcycle. So down to turn 7 we go. Schultz going to grab a handful of throttle. JD Beach. So a couple of Yamahas. There's Sean Dillon Kelly on the Orange Cat BMW. A factory-supported machine this year for Sean Dillon Kelly. And there's Cameron Peterson, the 45. That is a bike that was Josh Herron's last year. So it's a couple-year-old Panigale V4 by Ducati is the white and black machine of Cameron Peterson, a bike that won the championship just a couple of years ago. So a very capable motorcycle in the hands of the 45.
And you can see Benjamin Smith there as well. So for Benjamin, this is great. He's just got to try to hang on to the back of these guys. As he starts to see the race pace, I expect Benjamin Smith to be running up front throughout the course of the year. I look through, Greg, Beaubier is up to 11th, and he's still got the leaders just up the road from him, and he can still probably see him. So a much better start for our #1 plate this restart. Here you go, Greg, and you can just see the speed that Scholz has over these guys, even through these quick back and forths. Escalante right now in 9th, just ahead of him. Andrew Lee, the first of our Superbike Cup competitors, running 8th, and Brandon Posh just in front of him. So you can see some of the Superbike Cup competitors as well as Dion Campbell there, Danilo Lewis. They're mixing it up. There's the #1 of Cam Beaubier. As he slides through and goes past Dion Campbell, that's going to move him up to 10th overall already, and he still has everybody together in front of him, and with only 2 of 12 laps to go. Top 5 maybe, Greg? What are you thinking about this?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, top 5 would be an outstanding result if he can pull it off.
Escalante goes past Andrew Lee.
Again, Andrew Lee on the Superbike Cup category. So no Superbike swing arm, no Superbike forks, and different engine modifications for the 14 of Andrew Lee. Good to see him competing in this class. Of course, Andrew Lee on that Real Steel Honda, a championship inside of a championship. So for Lee, he's looking at the other Superbike Cup competitors, and if he can stay ahead of the rest of those riders, as Lee gets passed again by Beaubier now. For Andrew Lee, though, he can win this race in the Superbike Cup category, and that's what he's looking to do.
Yeah, and it's a new move for him over to the Honda team, and coming off that Stock 1000 championship last year. So, and you know, when you're in the Superbike Cup, the goal is, man, I just want to go after a couple of the Superbike guys. You know, that's the thing. Just want to try to win and beat a couple of the Superbike guys if you can. And you know, you see right now both Andrew and Dion are just back there as Beaubier now goes up underneath Escalante down into turn 6. So his march forward is continuing. He is now up behind Brandon Posh. Love seeing the 66 on the front. Reminds us a little bit of the days of Matt Mladen here in our championship. Beaubier is going to be in the draft of this Suzuki as they head down the back straightaway. Let's see if he can do anything with Brandon at the end of the back straightaway, maybe on the brakes as they come down into turn 10.
And for those of you wondering about the riders, there he goes. Nice pass by Beaubier. You can see how planted that Ducati looks in its early days. This is a motorcycle, by the way, that arrived on our shores not even 2 weeks ago, Jason. And the backup bike that they have available for him showed up Tuesday. So you want to talk about a brand new motorcycle. Now, I will say that for the Warhorse HSBK Racing Ducati Flow for La team, the mechanics got to fly over to Ducati. We're in Ducati Corsa, right where all the MotoGP bikes are built and World Superbikes are built, and they assembled this motorcycle for their rider, Cameron Beaubier, and they got training on how to work on this motorcycle. And when you get a chance to come to one of these races, you got to stop by and see it, because it is an absolute gorgeous piece of equipment. It is phenomenal. Let's go to Hannah.
Like you said, Greg, they only just got this bike a couple weeks ago. He only had 2 days in the wet in Portugal and a day at Jersey just last week on it. But he said overall the electronics and turning abilities of this motorcycle are so good. Otherwise, the bike's overall demeanor is a bit nervous, so he wants to get it calmed down a bit so he doesn't have to ride it so gently. He really wants to push the bike the way he knows he can. He said once he can tame it, he can ride harder. But happy to start this new chapter. He's wanted to ride the Ducati for a really long time.
And you know, Hannah, right now, the way he's riding that bike, he's up behind Jason Uribe. We could have grossly underestimated where he could finish. With 9 to go, Greg, he is only about 3-point-something seconds off a second as he goes by Uribe going down into turn 10. So Beaubier now, that last lap through was a 25.6. Put it in perspective, 24.6 for your leader last time through, as Matthew Scholz clicks another lap off here in front of our post. JD Beach and SDK, Cam Peterson all go through. Looking at Beaubier's time, 24.6. That's his personal fastest lap. So the #1 has got podium places directly in front of him right now.
A good look at the Strack Racing Yamaha of Scholz. And boy, he gets up to that turn 2 area magnificently, and that's the benchmark. As Skoltz now with a 3.6 second lead over the rest of the field with Beaubier chasing, but Skoltz in a good position with 7.5 laps to go. A little bit of housekeeping. Want to talk about the riders that got the 5-second penalty in the first part of the race before the red flag. That penalty was assessed to their grid position. So keep in mind, those riders that jumped the start that had the penalty initially, yep, they've already served their penalty, so that's why it doesn't apply to this part of the race.
I was curious on that, so thanks for clearing that up. As Cam Beaubier goes past his teammate, this is going to give Benjamin Smith a big boost. There's my teammate. Let's go chase him down. Let's try to follow in his lead. Let's keep in mind, Benjamin Smith on this Ducati, he was running 5th in this race before his teammate just went by. Things are a lot closer between 2nd, 3rd, and 4th right now. These are the 3 riders ahead of the number 1. And so he's going to be locked in on this battle for the podium positions, isn't he?
He is, but the closer he gets to the front, the more difficult it is to pass. So it's not like he's just going to march through these riders if he can get to them. However, Jay, the one thing when you look at it, the valuable time that Cameron Beaubier is able to get with a brand new motorcycle, I think that any points he gets at this point is going to be good. It's going to be great. We got a long championship to go. We got 19 races after this. But I think more importantly to his team, is the amount of laps that his teammate is getting, as well as Cameron Beaubier, because like we talked about, brand new motorcycle. Now, Ducati shares data.
Yeah.
PJ Jacobsen has the same motorcycle, but unfortunately, PJ wasn't able to start this race.
That's right.
So for him, it's like, okay, every lap we get is more laps of information for Cameron Beaubier, and it's going to pay dividends as we keep ripping through the season, because every lap matters.
And you know Benjamin and Cameron get along so well as well. We see them out in practice sessions and qualifying sessions together.
Hannah.
With JD Beach leading the group for this podium battle here, you mentioned at the top of the show, he's filled in for this team in the past. It's his 4th time riding for Richard Stamboli in 21 and 23, but he said it's different this time around. He's feeling a greater sense of responsibility, but any pressure that he feels is pressure that he's putting on himself. The team obviously has very high expectations, enlisting his help to do the job, but everything that he's feeling is just a sense of obligation to the brand Yamaha as well, and to the team. But otherwise, he said there's still so much unknown heading into this season. He said he'll have kind of a better picture of things after this race.
Yeah, and talking to JD about this step up into this Superbike, I asked him how it felt compared to what he's been on in the past, and he just said, look, I've been on a Yamaha a lot in my career, won a lot on a Yamaha. He threw a leg over the Attack Performance bike and just said, it's a Yamaha. So that part of it, completely different from the number 1 of Cameron Beaubier, who spent many years on Yamaha, on BMW. And when I asked Cameron about his particular motorcycle at the beginning of the weekend, he was like, look, I've had a few laps on it. It's not my bike yet, but I can feel that someday soon it will be my bike. And so Beaubier going through a different experience than JD Beach, obviously with a well-sorted bike at JD Beach and this brand new Ducati. And heck, Jay, this is so brand new. Look at the swing arm on that motorcycle. That's a stock swing arm. So the swing arm that Cameron Beaubier is racing on is the same swing arm that's on the street bike that you're able to buy.
And look, all these riders, they all have big belief in themselves. Every one of them have that little bit of ego. You have to have it. What kind of psychological blow is it to these riders that know that Cameron's come from as far back as he has, and he's just moved his way forward? I mean, when he's one spot away now from the podium with these other two, if he goes up and gets by JD Beach, as you see, SDK has made the move on JD Beach himself, the number 40 now running in 2nd place. But they both know, they all know where Cam Beaubier has come from. They've all had him on their watch list going into this season. And now they're going to see this guy who's come from the back of the grid, who ultimately was out of this race before that red flag. He has caught back up, and he's going through them. The only guy I don't think he's going to catch right now is that number 11 of Matthew Skoltz, who is disappeared out front by 5.6 seconds. What a statement from him.
Unbelievable, with 4.5 laps to go in this race, and still clicking off 25 flats for Skoltz, 26 flat for Sean Dillon Kelly. So Beaubier, the only other rider than Skoltz in the 25s, as now he's going to be able to get a nice draft off of the 95 of JD Beach down into turn number 6.
And he can afford to wait, Greg. He sees where he's at. He's going to have very good self-awareness of knowing that Matthew is up the road and gone. So he's going to be able to take his time. He's going to know he's in 4th. He'll be able to draft past the Yamaha, I think, down this back straightaway, and then put his gun sights as you see him go through here on JD Beach. Now he's going to be, look at the wiggle. See this thing moving around?
Yeah.
That is one of the things that he talked about with me, both him and Benjamin, how much movement there is in the bike. And it almost just freezes you up as Cam Peterson now goes by JD Beach. So you got to kind of wonder if they're, and Cam makes a mistake. So Greg, what happens when a bike shakes a lot like that sometimes when you go to get on the brakes?
The possibility is that it basically moves your brake pads away.
It can.
And you grab and you don't have a brake initially.
Yeah, because really he didn't do much drafting there to get by JD Beach. So that's, you know, I think when you talk to Cam, that's a mistake. As you can see, he's got the bike just going down into here. Let's look, make sure he gets it into that last gear. He might have been fighting, Greg, he might be in a false neutral. See him shaking his head?
Yeah.
He might have caught a false neutral going in there and just couldn't get that bike to get into its lowest gear. So that's probably what happened.
Now, false neutral, of course, is going to be in between gears. So let's say that he was in between, say, third and second, because these super bikes that Cameron Beaubier rides on and the other bikes, they have what's called a neutral lockout. So unlike your street bike, which goes first gear to neutral, then second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, these particular super bikes actually have neutral at the top. And so once you get it in first gear, there's no in between. You just go first right through sixth.
Yeah, JD's got a problem. I could see him kind of looking around and looking over. Not exactly sure what it is on the 95, but Cam has caught him immediately again, and now he's going to go after Cam Peterson. But JD, you can see him, Greg. He's obviously got a problem. The two bikes next behind JD Beach are going to be Benjamin Smith and Jason Uribe. Look, he's got a big problem, this JD Beach.
It sounded, that bike sounded sick when he was at full song down the back straightaway.
Yeah,
so it's JD Beach. He's got, basically it's going to be about 3 laps to go. We'll see if he's going to try to limp that thing home and get some points or pull it in. But Skoltz right now, everything is going flawlessly for the South African who lives here in Georgia.
He's got to be wondering what's going on.
Yeah,
now.
where is everybody?
Yeah, exactly right.
It's been very tight through practice and through qualifying. He's always been towards the top. But this motorcycle that Strack Racing has was a motorcycle prepared by Attack Performance, and now Strack Racing has decided to go in their own direction. But right now, a well-sorted machine, equal equipment to what you have in JD Beach and with Bobby Fong. But right now, Matthew Skoltz, this place, so magical. He's so dialed in. He knows after being years in Superbike and then not being in Superbike, winning a couple Supersport championships, it means a lot to Skoltz to be back in the class, has a new appreciation for what he has, and he's maximizing his opportunity right now.
And I mean, Greg, what does it say about, you know, the team itself? They're very united down there, it seems, in the Strack Racing team. And to be able to come back to a team and have nothing but success like he has, and then throw on a Superbike on the track and still continue with that same success is really impressive. Love seeing SDK putting the solid ride in for the Orange Cat team. And I know that they're going to continue to improve. Cameron Beaubier now catching back up to Cameron Peterson. So both Cams are going to get dialed in here together on the track. It's going to be 2 laps to go this next time through. So for Cam Peterson on the 45, again, a very nice debut for him on that new bike with this team again. We saw Wrench in the paddock a couple of years ago, so it's great to have them back making a footprint in the paddock. For Beaubier, I think he's going to take his time on this one. Yeah. And I mean, look, he has had a Saturday. He crashed in qualifying, like we said, had a problem at the start of this race, ran off the track in this race, and he can still come out of here with a podium, and that just doesn't bode well for everybody else. Down through the S's here, Greg. You see him just drawing up on the back of Cam Peterson at the moment. So he should be able to go by Cam probably down that back straightaway, unless he can sneak underneath him coming down here into turn 6. So generally, you're going to go up to 4th down that little chute, get back to 2nd. A lot of the bikes will go back to 1st coming into this last turn. And then onto this back straightaway as Cam Beaubier now has made that pass on Cam Peterson. And I think now Beaubier is just going to be trying to get mistake-free all the way back to this checkered flag.
And mistake-free for this guy, just enjoying his ride. And after what was an unbelievable start, the first flag that flew, or, you know, first lights that went out here in the start of the race, and you thought, wow, can he do it again? So for him to get such incredible starts right out of the gate with this motorcycle, the Strack Racing Yamaha R1, That in itself is enough. But the way that he handles from turn 2 to turn 7 on the first lap is something that the rest of this field has got to look at moving forward.
What would you have said if I said Matthew Skoltz by 7.2 seconds in race 1 in Atlanta?
With this field?
I would have said
no
zero
way.
chance of that.
Yeah.
And so this is a statement race from Matthew Skoltz. This is going to give him the biggest boost of energy that you could get, and that team. And, you know, he just rode absolutely mistake-free, did the 11, and as he comes up over the top of the hill, turn 5, he had a 7.2 second lead that last time through, still running in the 25s, 25.6 that last time by.
This is what you get to a guy with this level of talent who moves his way back to Supersport, gets to appreciate what he has. He learned some different things while he was in Supersport. And of course, Skoltz's last win, 2022, right here at Road Atlanta on a super bike.
And he shifts to 6 really late down that back straightaway, Greg. If you heard that, is literally as he was tipping into the kink on the back straightaway, he was just starting to shift to 6th. So he's come up over the bridge. I'll let you bring him home for race number 1 this year of our 2026 season.
Down the hill comes his track racing Yamaha R1 pilot Matthew Skoltz, back in Superbike and first win since 2022. And he is all smiles as he takes victory here in race 1 of the Quad Lock Superbike Series. And here comes Sean Dylan Kelly back on the podium and Cameron Beaubier from last to 3rd.
Uh-oh.
And now we have
Benjamin
someone.
Smith.
No.
Looks like a Ducati. It looks like the same leathers. That is heartbreaking for Benjamin Smith. That is such a bummer. It looks like that maybe down the back straightaway.
Yeah,
right?
he was up in the top
Wow.
6 was Benjamin Smith, and now parked on the side of the racetrack. But that's not important to the number 11, Matthew Skoltz. He's screaming. He's having a lot of fun. Here's a look at the race pace for Skoltz. That 24.4 out of the gate. So impressive from Skoltz. And he continues to be a master here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to get to chat up Matthew Skoltz and find out how his race went after his commanding performance.
Quad Lock is the most convenient and secure smartphone mount for motorcycles and scooters. Our sleek mount designs give you the flexibility to position your smartphone in a convenient and visible location. Our patented dual-stage lock allows you to securely attach and detach your smartphone in seconds. Quad Lock mounts are super strong and will hold your smartphone securely over the roughest terrain. Quad Lock is perfect for navigating your ride and keeping your smartphone accessible while on the go. Buy now from quadlockcase.net and enjoy fast, free local shipping.
Get ready to eat like a king with Mission Foods. Load up those saddlebags for Mission King of the Baggers Racing and feed your need for flavor. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy to make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
Drama-filled race number 1. JP, I mean, where do you even start with this one?
Now, you can see here, hey, this is the restart that we ended up having to have because there was so much stuff going on. As you see Segura's bike at the top of the hill, crashes out. We did a big restart. Beaubier's back at the back of the grid. Schultz gets right back where he needed to start. I mean, he's got such a big advantage. You see that bike shaking around through the top of the hill there. Beaubier starts just chipping away at people, Greg, and he literally almost got second in this race as he goes up underneath Brandon Posh. He goes through on Cam Peterson as you see the battle for second just ahead of him at this point. The bike shaking around a lot. Goes by JD Beach, who would eventually also have a problem. Beaubier runs off the track at the end of the back straight, pulls it back on, gets past Cam Peterson. And this guy out front, though, Greg, 6.6 second win, and honestly seemed a lot bigger than that.
Yeah.
So Matthew Schultz comes right off of 2 national championships and just comes out and wins the first Superbike race of the year. Impressive stuff.
And he is one happy guy. What a way to come back to the Quad Lock Superbike class. So for Cameron Beaubier, you know, getting a podium after what has been a very, very difficult day, and he's got smiles all around.
Quad Lock Superbike is brought to you by Quad Lock, securing millions of phones worldwide on motorcycles, cars, trucks, boats, and side-by-sides. Stay connected on adventures with Quad Lock. By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. By NXT Bets. Play MotoAmerica for cash. Quad Lock Superbike is live on top sportsbook and DFS platforms.
Race results have Matthew Schultz 6.6 second victory. Cameron Beaubier just a couple of ticks behind Sean Dillon Kelly. Cameron Peterson with a good run. Jason Uribe up into the top 5, teammates with Sean Dillon Kelly. Then you have Escalante and Posh on those Suzukis. And you see that red number 14? That's Andrew Lee, Superbike Cup competitor with his first win of the season. And so you can see back through the field how the Superbikes end up, you know, towards the top. And Benjamin Smith, obviously 1 lap down. He had a problem on the last lap. So it looks like they're going to be having a look at that motorcycle. But it looks like things are happening down to victory lane. Let's get right down to Hannah.
I'm really excited to hear this interview because it was certainly an up and down race from start to finish on that one. Gifted a bit of good luck when that red flag came out. Your team managed to get the bike fixed, but you had to start from the back of the grid, and you had a huge moment there. How were you able to ride this thing to the podium after all of that?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, just today was a pretty wild day. We started out pretty strong, feeling good in first practice, and then qualifying, I went and tucked to front and made a lot of work for the guys to for the rest of the day before the race. But man, they worked so hard. They were literally working on that thing until we rolled out for the warm-up lap. So and then to do it again, I was leaking a little bit of oil. They changed the gasket real quick and got me right back out there. So hats off to those guys. They're an incredible team. And man, I'm just honored to ride for them. It's pretty cool to ride this Ducati. I've always wanted to ride this thing, and it's pretty amazing. And then yeah, the race was able to make my way through, pick some guys off at the beginning, and was slowly catching up to the lead group. And I saw the podium, and man, I thought it was going to be pretty manageable. And then I got a big head shake on the back straightaway, spread the pads, went into the brake zone, had no brakes, and I was pumping it, and it finally came back, and I just went right through the gravel, but kept my head down. And honestly, these guys are really motivating to ride for, how hard they've been working this weekend. So just yeah, third place feels like a win. Thank you, Bell, Alpine Stars, yeah, all the fans for coming out, the man above for keeping us safe, and yeah, see you tomorrow.
How different do you think the battle will be for tomorrow if you're starting where you're meant to with no issues?
We'll see. You know, congrats to Matty. He was riding incredible. I didn't even see him. His pace was unreal, and it has been all weekend. So I'm sure whatever happened to Bob, he's going to be really strong tomorrow too. And also JD was up there. It was awesome to see Cam P. So Superbike stacked right now, and yeah, it's exciting.
No shortage of drama, guys.
No, definitely not. And when you look at best lap for each rider, you know, Matthew Schultz credited with the fastest lap of the race, a 124.406. But the only other rider in the 24s that whole race was Cameron Beaubier at a 124.6. But it's all about that starting position tomorrow, because this isn't one of those deals where Cameron gets third and then he gets to start third tomorrow.
Right.
He's still got to go back to his starting position. Let's get down to Hannah again with our second place finisher.
Second place today for Sean Dylan Kelly for your debut with the Orange Cat Racing team back on the BMW. Take us through that battle for the podium.
Yeah, well, first of all, happy birthday, Mama. It's Mama's birthday. As you can imagine, it's incredibly special to be able to get this this first podium with Orange Cat Racing on the first day and on my mom's birthday. Extremely special, so I love you. You deserve it. And yeah, honestly, this is amazing, right? Like, what a start with Orange Cat Racing team. They put everything for me. Thank you to Andrew and Jeff for all their work and for their belief in me, and of course the rest of the team. They've been working so hard, and it's just been amazing. So I'm really, really proud of all the work that's been done, and I think this just shows that, you know, we're putting everything on the table. So I'll be honest, I'm not too happy with my race. I'm happy with the podium, but we have things to improve, and I look forward to working with my guys tonight to be able to make a step tomorrow, because clearly we got some work to do, right? So really grateful. This turnout here is amazing. Thanks to all the fans for coming out. And of course, thank you to my sponsors, Palm Beach Police and Fire Foundation. Mike, I know you're somewhere around here. Thank you for the support. And CJ, from 1-8-3 CJ knows I wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. Thank you so, so much.
Now, this is your third season in the Superbike class, and while you're one of the younger guys in the field, you're far from a rookie, and you've proven that. We talked about this a little bit in the press conference, but do you think you'll be in the championship conversation all season long, fighting for wins at the front?
Well, I think that's why we're here, right? It's clear as day. So we do have to work. We have to make steps. We have to find some things. But look, we're here. We're in the fight. So absolutely, that's what we're here for.
Great job today by Sean Dylan Kelly, and it's going to be pretty hard to top this birthday gift for Mom next year, guys.
Yeah, definitely will. But yeah, you know, when you look at those best lap times too, Jay, a 1:25.2, so the third fastest lap of the race for Sean Dylan Kelly, but definitely some room to improve for this team.
Yeah, there's no question, and it was really, listening to his interview, you could kind of tell podium's great, but he's got some work to do. He had a guy that was 7 seconds out in front, this guy here. So everybody's got a little work to do, and they're all going to be working hard into the night.
And Hannah's with our race winner.
What a way to kick off Strax Racing's debut into Superbike racing with a win. It's got to feel so good, Matt, after all this time away from the bike. Take us through that race. You were by yourself pretty much the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, firstly, thank you to the Strax Racing crew for giving me the bike, stepping up into the Superbike Championship, and, you know, I'm just thankful for this, the program that we have. I know that these guys are going to be chomping at the bit tonight, and they're going to come out swinging tomorrow. I did get a little bit lucky. I knew that Bobier qualified badly after crashing. Fong had put it down, so, you know, I just kind of stuck to my lines, did what I knew I could throughout practice, and I know that there's a few spots that we have to work on, but overall, one more thank you to the team. You know, I've got my boys over there, Codeman, D-Boy, Steffo, Brian. Yeah, just really looking forward to the second race and hopefully trying to battle up at the sharp end one more time.
Home race for you this weekend. You got a lot of friends and family here. How does it feel to perform like this in front of them and to repay your team's endeavor into Superbike racing with a victory?
That's what I'm more pumped on, you know, just after all the hard work that Strax Racing has done, you know, developing this whole new program and giving me a bike that I'm capable of putting it up at the front. I couldn't be more thankful for that.
Congrats, Matt. Great job today, guys.
Yeah, and if you didn't see it at the last Supersport race of last year, Peter Strack gets on the podium and just had an impulse buy, which was he will be in a Superbike. And then all of a sudden he said to me afterwards, did Peter Strack of Strack Racing, now I got to figure out how to do that.
Did I just say that?
Did I just say that out loud?
Yeah.
And look how quickly it paid dividends as Matthew Skultz able to bring home a win. Now, Jay, the thing, too, if you look at it, I know that Skultz is kind of downplaying the win. He's downplaying where Bobier was. But you look at the 1:24.4, the best lap of this 12-lap race that they had, he didn't have to do that. There was no real pressure for him to do that. And so you have to imagine that if there's a race situation that Matthew gets in, that he's probably got a couple of tenths of a second just sitting in, you know, in the bag ready to pull out. But I'm sure that they're going to go back and work on the bike even more. As he says, he identifies there's some areas to work on.
I think it's just perspective, right? I think that a lot of people had earmarked Cameron Bobier to be the champion or the guy who's going to win a bunch of races. And look, in our sport, there's always going to be luck involved. And Cameron has had a little bit of unlucky today, and he's had a lot of lucky today as well. And for Matthew Skoltz, he just needed to go out and do his job, and he did. And to your point on the lap times, when you look at the times, Craig, the thing that I really think about when you talked about it, Beaubier doing 24.6, he did 24.9 on the last lap. And he had, riddled with mistakes as well. And I think for SDK here, as happy as he is with this, and Orange Cat's going to be really happy to get their first Superbike podium and things. Had he been another, let's say, 5 seconds closer, it would probably be a little easier to swallow. But all these guys have great perspective as you get a chance here to look at very early season championship points.
Yeah, so this is the way we score points in MotoAmerica, not just in the Quad Lock Superbike class, but across all of our categories. 25 points for the win, 20 for second, and 16 for third. So a look at our schedule. We got another race here tomorrow, and then we get to go to Barber Motorsports Park and Road America in May. And then in June, we go to the Ridge, Laguna Seca, Mid-Ohio, VIR, Circuit of the Americas in September, and the very awesome New Jersey Motorsports Park. Well, that'll do it for Quad Lock Superbike Race number 1. We hope you enjoyed it. We get to do it again tomorrow, and we hope to see you right here for more race action.
Are you ready to advance your